Man. So, I don't know how many of y'all gonna be in. Let me see how many of y'all in here right now. I'm not gonna play no music on this one. We're gonna be doing something a little bit different on this one. I am gonna still give people time to get in here. And shit. Let me go find what I need to pull up to do this video. Okay. Fucking advertisement. Let me see something. Hold on, y'all. Let me get this shit set up right. What up, everybody's here already. Miss Mello, Isaac Ford, Fresh Ingredient, DB, Wish, Justin, Lay Netta, DJ Mac, John Brown, Fox 13, Ken Nala. Y'all come on in here. We're going to go through this. This will be my first time doing some shit like this on this channel. We're going to listen to this whole Bernie Sanders interview. I'll be pausing it, giving my commentary. We're going to break down what he's saying. Just to see if this going to be something that we can actually do over here on this channel. I'm not going to be showing it here. It'll be playing here, but y'all will hear it. So we're going to break that shit down and give people a little bit more time to get in here. We're going to break that shit down. Everybody go ahead and get whatever you need. It's about 38.5 minutes. So with us pausing it through there, look, y'all about to spend about an hour with me. If y'all don't mind. If y'all got the time today, you know. Look to spend about an hour with me. We're going to go through here, break this shit down. There's a whole lot of Bernie Sanders campaigning and camping or caping going on right now. I'm actually going to start this off with a screen share. Hold on, let me find this shit. If I can find this fucking video I put up on my Instagram today. Look at this motherfucker over his Bernie Sanders. Really? This is bullshit. Oh, yeah, I did just reset the whole fucking computer. So now, yeah, I know they be on some bullshit when you do a reset or they do the little updates and shit. Now all my passwords and shit. It forced me to have a good goddamn memory, and I really ain't got time for it, but I had that one easy. I'm gonna screen share this fucking video. This motherfucker right here, so damn. I'm telling y'all. Hold on, I'm gonna share the screen so y'all can see this shit. This is how we gonna start this video. Before we even get into his Breakfast Club, watch this shit right here, man. Let me show y'all this shit. This is where we at in the world. Let me see if I can get this shit pulled up right. As you can see on the screen, as y'all can all see, y'all see my caption right here. They done fucked around and let me find the little raccoons on my little emoji keyboard. They should have never let me see that shit. Now I ain't even doing O's no more. We just gonna put the face up this motherfucker. I wish I could make them like foam at the mouth a little bit, because that's how I feel about coons. Like they look rabid to me, but these look a little too calm, like too, you know, okay, you know, like you can almost have them as a pet, you know. But they shouldn't let me find them motherfuckers. We gonna start this shit off, and y'all let me know if y'all can hear. Hold on, let me see. I might have to. If y'all can hear this motherfucker when I play it, I'm gonna have to turn this up so y'all can hear it. Hold on. This is how we're gonna start off while people getting in here. What the fuck? I can't even find my volume shit. Where my volume shit go? They done updated the motherfucker now. Okay, we go. I'm about to get mad as a bit. This is how we're gonna start off while people getting in here. Oh shit. What the fuck? Need this. I can't even find. Okay, so it shouldn't be no echo. Shouldn't be no echo. Listen to this. I know this one of y'all's uncles or something. Somebody on a deacon board or something. Listen to this motherfucker sing his song. He gonna sing his song to his boy, Bernie Sanders. Listen to this shit. She had. What? Oh shit. Come on, what the fuck happened?
She has landed lost million pounds. Just get on with Bernie Sanders, we gon' get on.
Oh yeah, they love that shit. They got a cool. Yay. Oh my God.
Get on.
Oh my God. He gonna lean back. He gonna lead off this shit like he just did some heavy ass. Like that shit took everything out of his ass. Like what the fuck is? Yo, listen. What the fuck is wrong with? Man, listen. Oh, let me get back. Let me get back on the screen. My shit done went dark as a bitch. Hold on. Let me get it back. Let me get my goddamn shit back right. Hold on. Let me see. We're gonna get it back right. Oh, goddamn it. Hold on. We should be good now. Y'all see this dude, man? Did y'all see this dude? This is what we dealing with out here in these streets, man. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear, man? Y'all let me know if y'all can hear me again. Let me know if we back. Ghetto boy, like nigga. What? Nigga. What is going on with y'all, man? Damn. And as soon as he said get on board with Bernie Sanders, here come everybody. Yes. Like, man, shut your con. Man, listen. We're gonna get into this Bernie Sanders Breakfast Club. This is how black folk feeling about Bernie. If you look at posts about Bernie, you got a few people talking about, he ain't talking about shit, But a lot of people are falling for the bullshit of it all. We're going to listen to this. I don't know whether I should quote. Hey, hold on. Maybe I should quote the Fair Use Act. Maybe just to be safe. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Now, I don't know if that was necessary, but I just did it just in case they try to get on me for even talking about this shit. We're going to watch this shit together. I'm going to be pausing it. If some of y'all missed that, I'm going to be pausing it through here. And if this video, if it goes well, I'll do videos like this. We can just listen to some shit together and we can just pause and call out the bullshit of what's going on per y'all's boy, Bernie Sanders, speech on the Breakfast Club. I got thrown off by a comment. Somebody. I got thrown off by a comment. Elaine said she said it's too harsh to call somebody a coon for supporting a presidential candidate. Okay. It is what it is. That comment threw me off. If you don't know anything about Breakfast Club, is Charlemagne, DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Breakfast Club. Bernie Sanders went on. I'm gonna see him. I'll quote the dates. He went on today. Actually, he went on today. And we're gonna go through this thing and break this shit down.
Wake that ass up.
Let me turn this up.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlemagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building.
Yes, sir.
Bernie Sanders.
Senator Bernie Sanders.
Senator Bernie Sanders.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you, sir?
I'm great. How you guys doing?
It's not the first time, Bernie. You've been on the Breakfast Club. First time you've been to the studio.
That's right. Last time we were out in what, South Carolina?
Columbia, South Carolina. We go see him with Killer Mike. I hosted a town hall for him back.
Killer Mike is his boy. Y'all know Killer Mike is loving Bernie.
So Bernie, 44 out of 45 presidents in this country have been white men. Do you think we need another one?
Well, I think you need this one.
Charlemagne's such a fucking
Look, we are living in an unprecedented time. We have the most dangerous president in modern history of this country. Somebody who is a pathological liar, a fraud, a racist, a sexist, a homophobe,
A racist, a con man, a cheat.
Now you're just getting warmed up here. Now this is a bit.
Now listen, the only reason I paused it here is because a lot of these Democratic, candidates, they're running their campaign based on the fact that, Donald Trump is the worst thing that has happened, to America. And, they run on that. The fact that people don't like Trump is the fact that we know for a fact that a Democratic president is going to be who they are projecting is going to be up next. I don't know about that. We'll talk about that here later on. But Donald Trump is just the worst worst everything. And there's a lot of people like to run on that or like to, use that Donald Trump actually caused the racism that's going on here in this country, which if you've been paying attention and you black folk, damn well it's some goddamn bullshit.
The most important thing that has got to happen is that this dangerous president is defeated. I'm going to do everything I can to defeat him. I look forward to winning the Democratic nomination. And if I don't, I will support anybody else who's out there to defeat him. But this guy cannot win another term.
Why run again? Last
well, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. We ran in 2016. As you guys know, we were
2016.
Here. And I'm proud of the campaign that we ran. If you think back, and I want you just to think back a few years ago, think about the issues that we ran on. We said that we cannot continue to have a minimum wage in this country of $7.25 an hour, starvation wage. That we're going to fight for a $15 an hour minimum wage. And I was told back then 4 years ago, think about it. What was I told?
Yes, that was insane.
It was insane. It was crazy. Can't happen. Well, since then, 5 states have already passed that. I was told that the United States has got to join every other major country on earth and guarantee health care to all people as a right to a Medicare for all single payer program. Once again, Bernie, you're crazy. Can't be done. Today, a strong majority of the American people understand that it is insane that we have 30 million people who have no health insurance, more who are underinsured, and that we pay the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs. Okay, we're making progress on that. Got more than 100 co-sponsors in the House with Medicare for all. We'll have 15 or 16 in the Senate, making progress. I was told that it was crazy to talk about making public colleges and universities tuition free, so that every kid in this country has the right to go to college regardless of his or her income. Well, ain't such a crazy idea now. Cities, states are beginning to move in that direction. So to answer your question, we made progress in 2016.
We just pause it here. Now, he's saying that he ran his first campaign on the fact that minimum wage needs to be raised to more than $7. I don't have a call in, Andrew. I don't have a call in. I don't need you to explain a point to me either. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't have a call in thing going on. But nonetheless, he ran on raising minimum wage to $15 an hour from $7. He ran on that. Now he's saying that some states have actually passed it. If you've been paying attention to the news and things that have been going on out here, some states have actually bumped up minimum wage to $15 an hour. He also ran on the fact that healthcare should be universal. A lot of people call him a socialist. I've even seen him be called a commie of some sort based on having this type of rhetoric. I don't see nothing wrong with him talking about healthcare being offered to everyone. I don't really, I don't see anything wrong with that. He also said that universities should be free, should be accessible to everyone, regardless of socioeconomic class. I don't think those are bad ideas. Now, raising minimum wage up to $15 an hour and not dealing with inflation, I think that's a little disingenuous, because wouldn't nothing be wrong with $7.25 an hour if they wasn't raising the goddamn prices all the time. I think that to raise minimum wage up to $15 an hour is be cool if the cost of living stays the same. But what we've noticed, if you've been paying attention over the decades, cost of living continues to rise up. It continues to grow, which makes $7 not worth a fuck. Why you need 15? They make it 15, and you know the cost of living increases up to where $15 ain't worth a damn. And really, if you're making in a lot of states, if you're making $15 an hour, you're still struggling unless you're doing OT, unless you got a whole nother job or something like that. So I think we need to, even when you hear conversations about the minimum wage being raised up to $15 an hour, you have to be sure that these people are also mentioning the fact that inflation and cost of living is steadily increasing in this country for reasons that they can't even fully explain. But we'll continue. This is what he ran. These are things he ran on in 2016.
Taking on all of the big money interest in this country, taking on Wall Street and the insurance companies and the drug companies. We made progress. Obviously, we have a long, long way to go. And I want to complete the political revolution that we began.
What will you do differently, though, this time? What will hopefully ensure
I really don't like DJ Envy when
I have been criticized my 2016 campaign. Remember that campaign? We started like with 4 people. My wife Jane is here. She was one of them. 4 people around our kitchen table. And then the campaign grew and we took on the whole establishment. We ended up winning 22 states and 13 million votes. This time we're starting from a very different position. We were criticized for being too male. That was a correct criticism. Too white. That was a correct criticism. That is going to change. We'll have a much more diverse campaign. We've already announced our co-chairs. I think many of you know Nina Turner.
Nina Turner.
You should love Nina Turner. Nina,
some of you may be familiar with Nina Turner. If you're not familiar with Nina Turner, many would deem her as some type of woke. You know what I'm saying? Many would deem her as such. He's kind of brought her in. He also has Killer Mike going out here speaking for him. So what he's saying is that he has more diversity now in this campaign than he did versus he has more diversity in this campaign in 2019 than he did in 2016. Now he has some black people in on his team, so that way he can at least push that he's diversified, which I don't know why you would have to be told to be diverse if you are really about that life. Would nobody have had to tell you that? But you know,
Nina worked with me in 2016. We started an organization after the campaign. It's called Our Revolution. And the function of Our Revolution is to get people all over this country to stand up, to fight back, to run for office. Nina has, until just a few days ago, been the leader of Our Revolution. They have 600 chapters all over the country. All right? And they are getting young people to get involved in the political process. Ro Khanna, you may know. Ro is one of the outstanding members of the Congress. Carmen Yolene Cruz, the mayor of San Juan, Puerto Rico, is one of our co-chairs. Ben Cohn of Ben & Jerry's. So we have a diverse group of co-chairs.
He's basically making like a rainbow coalition styled, you know. He's doing that. He's bringing people in and have a rainbow coalition styled campaign. We have Faz Shakir, who is the first Muslim ever to be the campaign manager.
What about your press secretary? He said he's an illegal immigrant.
She's
an illegal immigrant.
Well, she's protected under DACA right now.
Yeah, we'll have DACA people, and we'll announce some other people pretty soon. It's going to be a diverse campaign staff, and this is a promise. This is maybe my first campaign promise. You ready? All right. Okay. You know, when you look at Trump's cabinet, looks kind of white and kind of old, right?
Kind of.
It's
like a cabinet of mayonnaise.
Okay.
Our cabinet of mayonnaise.
We look like America in terms of women and men and racial diversity. That's the promise.
He'll have his first promise now. His first promise was that his cabinet will be diversified. You're gonna have women, I guess, black folk, men, maybe possibly some homosexuals. He didn't really mention the homosexuals, so maybe he's gonna have, you know, trans, and have everybody up in there. He's wanting to represent what America actually is with this diversity. That's what his first promise as a president, or if as a running president, that is that his cabinet will be diverse.
Lose the Democratic nomination that got stolen from you the first time around. Do you believe it got stolen from you?
Well, let's just say that the DNC, the Democratic National Committee, was not overly sympathetic to our candidacy. Let's just say that they represented the establishment we took on. Let's just say that before the first vote was cast in the 2016 primary election,
They're saying Hillary stole it from him.
in Iowa, my opponent, Secretary Clinton, had 500 superdelegates lined up before the first vote was cast. Okay? All right. Over the last couple of years, we've worked hard on some of those issues. There will no longer be superdelegates voting on the first ballot at the convention, which means that now delegates will actually represent the people in their states, and there will not be a lot of powerful insiders having undue influence.
So if the fight is fixed, because they look at you, they don't look at you as a real Democrat. So if the fight is fixed and they don't want you as the nominee, you think it could happen again in 2020?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, look, let's be clear. Last time in 2016, we took on the establishment. All right? You know, I had a handful of members of the House. I had no governors, no big city mayors, nothing. And we won 22 seats. All right. This is where what I understand, and the essence of what this campaign is about, is not only winning the nomination. Let's say you win the nomination. Do you think you're going to have health care for? What do you think the insurance company is going to do? What do you think the drug company is going to do? You know how much money they have?
Yeah.
They have unlimited sums of money because they make billions and billions of dollars in profit while people can't afford their medicine, while people can't afford to go to the doctor. You got hold on. You're a few blocks away from here, right?
He talking
We
about
got 6 banks that own 54 that have assets equivalent to 54% of the GDP of the United States of America. 6 banks. All right. When we tell the wealthy and the powerful they're going to have to start paying their fair share of taxes, you may have read recently. You have companies like Amazon made $11 billion in profit. You know how much they paid in taxes? 0.
They get all
You
kinds
got
of
it,
tax
man.
breaks.
Actually, they got a rebate.
They got money back.
Okay. All right.
That's crazy.
So when how do you take these guys on? The only way you take them on is with a mass movement, grassroots movement. This is what the civil rights movement was about. It's what the labor movement was about. The women's movement was about. The gay movement was about. And I'm very proud. We've been in this campaign now for 6 or 7 days. We got 1 million people signed up in every state in this country who are prepared to stand up and fight back.
Hold on, I want to pause it right there. Now, here's what Bernie runs on. He ran on this last time. He wants to go at the establishment as it was. Big Farm, Wall Street. He wants to tackle big banks. Now, when he talks about the money aspect of this, he's most definitely accurate as fuck. He's telling the truth about that. You have to understand when a lot of these talking points that Bernie has, they're accurate talking points, but he's not being accurate as to, they do have all this money, and actually Big Pharma is knocking off holistic doctors. I believe that in my heart. No one can convince me otherwise. They're actually out here murdering people. And he said what it's going to take is a grassroots movement to kind of come at and go against the big corporations that run this country. When in my opinion, it's not going to come through a president. It will come through us actually being fed up as a people. It has nothing to do to me with voting presidential, campaigns, or you come vote for me and then we gonna deal with this shit. Like, that ain't how this shit work. Which I believe he knows that. I think he may understand that, but he's running right now. So he gonna say whatever he has to say to get people to vote for him, when he should be saying that power is in the people. Really, it's in us. Whenever we get tired of fucking paying these fucking prices for this medication, whenever we get tired of big banks controlling, he said over 52% of GDP in this country, while poor lower middle class people starving out here. Whenever we get tired of that, we're gonna have to be the ones to change that. President not gonna do it. If he was real, he would say that. But he's campaigning. And that's why you gotta be careful when these people campaigning. A lot of them just be talking. They just talking and they trying to get you to vote for them, but they're not being real. They're not being real about, well, okay, how are you going to go at big banks? What are you going to do? Because if the establishment gets tired of your ass, even as president, they'll knock you off. Oops, they can do shit like that. He said the wrong thing. We had to knock him off. So him making it seem like he can single-handedly do something about these problems if he's president, that's just not true. Because he can only suggest bills and he has to get them through a Senate. Y'all know how this process works. You're not about to come and do a whole lot of that if you're going to be taking on a task, taking that on your own. You need to be tasking people to actually give a fuck about this stuff. And right now, that's not something people even care about. But we'll continue. But again, he's saying some real shit. He's talking about some real shit as far as big banks, big farm is concerned, Wall Street's concerned. This is real shit.
Mention all those things, but you know, the question is always how. It seems like politicians they say what everybody wants to hear.
Exactly.
Free tuition, lower
really
taxes, legalizing marijuana. But what's the plan? How are we going to have?
I don't say lower taxes.
Oh, okay. Well, how are we going to have free tuition?
I'll tell you.
How are we going to do? You know,
that's a good question.
How are we going to implement those plans?
Excellent question. Fair enough. Right now, in terms of healthcare, we are spending almost twice as much per capita.
Twice as
much. Any other major
this is real.
And when you come and you visit me in Burlington, Vermont, if you go 50 miles north of where I live,
you spend twice as much on healthcare as any other country in the world.
They guarantee in Canada healthcare. Do you know how much it costs? You got, God forbid, somebody comes down with cancer, right? You go through all the surgery, all the chemotherapy. Do you know how much you pay in Canada for all of that?
Free.
Yeah, that's not, well, it's not free. It's paid for,
right?
The same way we pay for public education,
right?
You don't come out with a nickel bill. I think that's the right thing to do.
I agree.
Okay. So you asked me how we pay for it. Right now, we are paying twice as much per capita for healthcare as they do in Canada, because they don't have a system which enables the drug companies and the insurance companies to make huge profits. Their system is simpler. There is not all kinds of waste and bureaucracy.
A lot of overcharging here.
Let me pause it right here. Now, some of y'all that keep up with what's going on as far as the health insurance, big pharma is concerned, you understand this already. You already know about this. A lot of people actually have issues with Bernie Sanders because he talks about basically socializing healthcare. He compares it to Canada. You will hear this argument a lot. You will hear like, okay, look, Canada's like right here. I can reach up and high five Canada. Why the fuck can they do it and America's not doing it? That's because we've allowed health insurance companies to privatize, make billions of dollars off the shit, as well as pharmaceutical companies to privatize and make billions of dollars. We've allowed that as a people, not just with the government. We've allowed that as a people. And we have to understand that. Now, he's saying he got a plan to fix it. Again, without the people, it's not going to matter. That has to be something that we demand from this government, and we don't demand it. We don't demand that from this government, but you understand that health companies, health insurance companies, and big pharma is robbing people left and right, bankrupting people left and right. If you get sick, you get a terminal illness, it can bankrupt you. And at the end of all of that, after you get through going bankrupt and losing all your money, you still end up dying because you couldn't even keep up. As you don't put your house up, you don't put everything up. You don't went broke doing this shit. And actually, there's some documentaries out that expose this type of system that's set up here in America. 3Ks, don't get this shit fucked up, Incorporated. It's real. This is a corporation. It runs like a corporation. It don't give a fuck if you sick. They care about you as long as you can pay for it. You can put your house up. You can put your car. You put everything up. And at the end of the day, you still die because you couldn't keep up with the cost. That's real. And nobody's mad about that.
Out of it. Huge amount. So to answer your question in terms of healthcare, we're already paying for it. We're paying twice as much as the Canadians. So what the criticism of Bernie Sanders is, he's going to raise your taxes. Well, I make. That's right. But you know what I'm doing? I'm doing away with all of your private health insurance premiums. I don't know how you guys work with where you get your health care from. Somebody's paying Blue Cross or United Health. All right, that's gone.
You're paying it for ourselves yet.
You're paying it for yourself. If you're an average family of four in this country, you're paying $28,000 a year. And that cost is going to go up. So we can't afford the present system. That's why we're going to move to Medicare for it. That's how we're going to pay for it. You asked about public colleges and universities. Roughly speaking, it's about $900 billion over a 10-year period. That's a lot of money. Not quite as much as Trump gave in tax breaks to the top 1% and large private corporations. All right, so we're going to tax we have a speculation tax on Wall Street that would in fact pay for that. So to answer your question, all right, it's a fair question. Right now, we have more wealth and income inequality than any major country on earth. I know we don't talk about this very much.
Let me pause it right here. Now, if you notice, he talking about increasing taxes on the would-be rich. If you know anything about these presidents and their campaigns, increasing taxes on the rich, that don't happen. Which is why earlier he said Amazon made $11 billion and they got money back from the government. They're not paying no taxes. Jeff Bezos is living motherfucking scot-free. These presidents that come here talking about taxing the rich, they always talking about taxing the rich. As of now, and again, this is a campaign that a lot of these motherfuckers run on. It hasn't happened. Democrats always talking about taxing the rich. Always. Doesn't happen. Because these rich motherfuckers, when they dig back, they putting a lot of money into this government as in the form of lobbying as well. A lot of these candidates never talk about lobbying. They'll talk about the lobbying power of certain entities, but they don't talk about how corrupt lobbying is, how they're trying to end lobbying. They never talk about that. They'll just talk about how they're going to tax the rich. And if they tax the rich enough, then that's going to help out the regular average working class citizen here in this country. I've never seen it happen. It's a bullshit. It's a bullshit ass talking point. Honestly, it really is. It's just, again, this is that campaign talk, and we continue to fall for it.
You can turn on CBS today. It could be on the CBS. You have 3 people owning more wealth than the bottom half of America. 46% of all new income goes to the top 1%. Okay, that's the
talking about.
So yes, you guys said
disparities.
I'm not going to promise I'm going to lower Wall Street's taxes. Quite the contrary. We are going to ask the billionaires and the wealthiest people in this country and the largest corporations to start paying their fair share of taxes.
What about prison reform? Because we've seen the effects of mass incarceration and how that's affected us to this day. It still continues to affect us. What do you think about prison reform, and what are we going to do about that?
We're going to do a lot about that. Okay? Give me a minute on this one, because this is a huge issue.
We're going to do a lot about that.
Right now, we have to ask ourselves how it happens that as a nation, we have more people in jail than any other major country on earth.
On earth.
2 million people in jail.
It's real.
$80 billion a year locking up.
Land of the free. Largest prison population in the world. He just said they make $80 billion a year with these prisons. $80 billion, largest prison population in the world, most which is, it's us. Largest in the world. It's the land of the free, though. Largest prison population in the world.
So first thing. And we are ready as a result of a lot of good work by Black Lives Matter, ACLU, and others. There are now prosecutors and district attorneys who are being elected to office who are saying, my job is not to put more people in jail, it's to reduce the prison population. Right? We're making some progress in that. We have got to invest in children and our kids. We've got to invest in education rather than in more jails and incarceration. Los Angeles, they want to spend billions of dollars on more jails. Wrong. Let's make sure that our kids have jobs and education. Second of all,
let me just deal with his first point first. Now, he says that in LA, they looking to build more prisons. Now, if you've been keeping up with anything, they tearing down schools, building prisons. They've been doing that for decades. That's what they do. What he said with how he going to, his first point was that he's going to educate children. Education is going to keep Black people out of prisons. He didn't deal with racism. Did not deal with racism at all. Not in his first point. If you listen to him, he talked about education. He talked about the fact that they are tearing down schools, putting prisons on top of them, putting prisons in those areas. He said that our children need to be educated. Let's see what he says.
We have to end private prisons in America.
In
People
private
should
prisons.
not be making money by locking up fellow Americans.
Okay, I agree with that.
I'm proud that during my campaign in 2016, we talked about
See if you talk about racism.
Of having at federal level marijuana at the same level treated the same way as heroin. Okay, so we talked about decriminalizing marijuana, legalizing marijuana, and that's beginning to happen around this country. So the goal is to make sure that also when people leave jail, they have jobs, they have decent housing, so they don't come back to jail. But criminal justice reform is a huge issue for me.
Do you feel like you...
Now, again, you didn't hear anything about the fact that the justice system itself is a racist entity that targets Black men, women, and children to funnel them into this system at all. The fact that they even stopped, the fact that they're even looked at, the fact that they're stopped and frisked, these things, he didn't mention those. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that I do believe it's ridiculous that marijuana is treated the same way as heroin. That's ridiculous. So I agree with that. I agree with the fact that there's no way you could treat marijuana the same as you treat heroin. It's ridiculous. Marijuana is a goddamn plant. It's ridiculous for it to even be against the law. Period. That's real. A lot of these people out here coming out right now talking about legalizing marijuana. This is one of the things that he ran his campaign on the first time. This is one of the reasons a lot of the young folks was fucking with Bernie. Because if somebody talk about legalizing some weed, they can get motherfuckers to come out here and support them based on them suggesting that marijuana be legalized. It works. It's just an argument that works. Even if you're dealing with the president, which I don't know, you can't, it's really per state. So it's almost like you got to deal with this on a state level, and there's checks and balances. You can't just be a president and say, well, fuck this shit. You know, you have to get it in and put some type of bill out and send that motherfuckers clean through and not ask no questions, but you can't do that. So you can support the legalization of marijuana all you want to, but that ain't how this shit work. It's per state. And a lot of these states still, again, you can go to one state, it's cool, they can prescribe it medically. You go to another state, nothing. You're getting locked up for it. So that's a very serious problem, but it is a good talking point for these people who are running for office, because they understand that that will generate them some young folk out here. Young folk will be behind them if they're talking about legalizing marijuana. But he still didn't say anything about the racist, white supremacist, institutional racist system that targets Black men, women, and children specifically. He didn't say anything about that.
You righting or wrong, because you did sign the 94 crime bill.
I signed it. I voted for it.
You voted for it. You voted for the 94.
He voted for the 94 crime bill. The Shell's boy Bill Clinton.
I voted for that because for a couple of reasons. I mean, you know, one of the things, it's a fair question, but as you know, a lot of bills have a lot of stuff in it.
Okay, here we
and
go.
If I hadn't voted for that, you would be saying to me, how come you voted against the Violence Against Women Act? How come you voted against the effort to deal with some gun safety legislation, which was included in that? That was a ban, as I recall it, on banning
trash.
Something that I believe.
Y'all boys Bill Clinton. Hold on, we're going to talk about it.
If you also noticed, at exactly that period, I talked about the dangers of mass incarceration. So it was one of those, and it happens, it may happen tomorrow. You got a bill which has some bad stuff in it, has some good stuff, you make a choice.
So more or less, he signed the crime bill, but excused himself. He excused himself. No, there was some good stuff in that bill. There was some stuff about women, and there was some stuff about there was something about some guns in there, but motherfucker, you signed the crime bill. Women still getting their ass whooped left and right. Domestic violence or no violence against women stop, and criminals can still get their hands on guns, and particularly your motherfucking people, white people that run out here shooting up the motherfucking concerts, shooting up the schools, shooting up anything they want to. So you signed that in '94 to get guns off the street, knowing damn well the government the one putting the goddamn guns on the streets. And y'all ain't checking your people. Your people the ones around here out here committing the mass shootings. You don't say anything about that. You just kind of explain away how you vote for a crime bill that specifically targets Black men, women, and children. And you Explain it away. It was some good stuff. See, if you go to page 5, section 2, section A, then it says something about women in there too. You know, it says something about women. And now, how would you feel if I didn't? Like, nigga, shut the fuck up. Shut your motherfucking ass up. Don't nobody give a fuck about all the small print that was in the crime bill. It was a bill set out to target black men, women, and children. And that was y'all's boy Bill Clinton, who y'all claimed at the time was a black man and he loved black folk and all this other extra bullshit. And I did, and I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna correct myself because I think I just called him a nigga. And this is one thing I've been working on myself, trying to get better about calling white folk niggas. I'm getting better. I'm actively trying to get better about that. Shut your cracker ass up. I'm trying to get better about, because sometimes you know how we get to talking and we'll call somebody white a nigga and I mean like, man, that nigga crazy as hell. I done heard motherfuckers call Donald Trump, man, that nigga crazy. Donald Trump a crazy ass nigga. I'm working on not doing that. This is me actively trying to decolonize my mind. I just fucked up and called him a nigga. I didn't mean to call him a nigga. Shut your cracker ass up. Lying and shit. Talking about some goddamn women, domestic women shit. Shut your ass up. But explain it away and they're going to keep moving. Some of y'all say y'all do that shit too. I'm working on this shit. I'm telling you. I be trying to actively decolonize my mind. I even call white folk nigga. Like, no, I'm not going to do that shit. That's bullshit. I hate it. I hate when we do it. So I'm working on myself. This is me actively working on myself. This is how we grow. We grow together over here, you see. We grow together.
Be right and wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, this is an issue we've got to do. Too many lives are being destroyed. Hundreds of thousands of people get criminal records. You know why? Mm-hmm. Because they have smoked marijuana. That's it. And as you know, this is a racial issue in the sense that
focused on marijuana heavy.
Do marijuana about equal time.
What about me being stopped for being black
in my car? What we also want to do, and some communities are beginning to do this, is expunge
being shot and killed.
Arrested.
Now he's talking about expunging records. That I can respect. Now he's talking about when you do get a nonviolent drug charge, he's actually talking about the record being expunged. Which if it's not going to be, I mean, if they're going to go back, if they're going to backtrack and expunge all the records, I think that's big. That's huge. That is huge. But he continues to talk about marijuana. Everybody's black don't smoke. Everybody's black don't smoke. Here's the tricky, the fucked up part about it. More white folk smoke weed than black folk, but black folk are targeted and focused on more than these white folk out here. That's the reality of it. Everybody black don't smoke weed. That ain't the savior of black folk. Is somebody coming out here legalizing weed. That's bullshit. That's a part of the propaganda they push against us. Motherfucker, that's really gonna look out for your people more. They've been smoking weed. They smoke good. Anybody that's been out here in this world enough know. White folk been smoking good weed for a long time. Back when we were smoking Reggie, they was growing that shit at the house. They've been smoking good. So it's really gonna look out for y'all more than it's gonna look out for us. Fact of the matter is, now we just get profiled more because y'all motherfucking cops is racist. You got cops existing like that cop, the goddamn police chief down in Miami that wanted to cook his books based on telling his people to go and arrest black people. And if you pay attention, if there's nothing on black people, they'll put something on black folk. So black people getting set up out here in this system too. Nobody talks about that. They ain't got nothing to do with no goddamn weed. Now, again, I'm not against weed, but we have to make sure when these motherfuckers talking to us, they don't make it seem like everybody just, you know, black folk, it's the weed that's going, it's the whole weed thing. That's really like, nah, motherfucker. Y'all smoke now. Y'all just don't get bothered. Some of the biggest weed sellers I ever known was white boys. Nerdy ass motherfucking geek ass white boys selling that good. Been like that. That's what's real. So be careful when these motherfuckers start talking about this weed. Again, that's a good point. You want to expunge the records of people who have nonviolent drug offenses. Again, he's specifically focusing on weed, but that's good. But don't sit here and act like that's just going to be something that just fixes the problem. Because if y'all motherfuckers do that and they have the same mentality, if they decriminalize the weed or make the weed legal, they'll find something else to fuck with us about. It'll be something else. That's what they do. We'll continue.
About your tax returns. Why are people so into your tax returns, and why haven't you released it? I know you said your wife does your taxes and she hasn't.
They want him to release his goddamn tax returns.
Why first of all, haven't you released it yet? And why are people so into your tax returns?
That's a good question. Because it's a gotcha kind of question. We will release them. I mean, the answer is they will be, we're a normal family, and I'm a senator, but in 10 years, somebody said to you tomorrow get you 10 years of tax returns. That's so easy. So we're doing it, and it will come out very soon. And it will not be any great shocks. I don't have any investments in Russia. There's not a Sanders Tower in Moscow that we're working on. Nothing in Saudi Arabia. It'll be mostly a Senate salary. And I wrote a book, made some money on the book. You'll have to see that there.
But I mean, that's why you can't drag your feet on it, because that's what they gave Trump flack for.
Yeah, but believe me, we ain't Trump, and we'll be on.
Now, the Bernie Sanders, this is a question that we've been asking.
Now, again, they just putting pressure on him about motherfucking, him bringing out his tax information, but he dragging his feet, talking about it's gonna take a while. I don't really give a fuck about his tax information at all. Man, that's no concern to me.
Of all Democrats, does Bernie Sanders have an agenda for Black people?
Does Bernie Sanders have an agenda for Black people? What is it? Listen.
We start off, as I mentioned, with massive disparity in the general population. Very few have a lot. Most people have nothing. Then you got another form of disparity, which is a wealth disparity. Right? So right now,
I'm talking about Black folk.
White community, the average white family, owning 10 times more wealth than the average Black family.
White families owning 10 times more wealth.
You have a health disparity. Infant mortality rates in the Black community, I think 2.5 times what they are in the white community. You got an education.
Infant mortality.
We talked about a criminal justice disparity.
Criminal justice disparity.
It's much more likely to be arrested and put in jail. Those are disparities that have got to be addressed. There is a friend of mine, Jim Clyburn of South Carolina. Yeah. And
still ain't really dealing with it.
Clyburn came up with an idea, which I think we should build on. He called it 10-20-30, which says that you focus federal resources on those communities most in distress. And at the same time, you got to deal with institutional racism. I remember
he said institutional racism.
If you're a small business person, I talked to a guy in Milwaukee.
Now, his plan, he talking about some 10-20-30. And if you basically, he going to focus on areas that need the most focus at a certain time. He said, while we deal with institutional racism, he doesn't talk about how he's going to deal with institutional racism, but he does say institutional racism, which is a bunch of pandering to Black people. But 10-20-30 it puts you in the mind of trickle-down economics. Trickle-down economics. If you remember this is one of the Ronald Reagan ran a campaign. Part of his Reaganomics scheme was to trickle down. If we just bless over here, then if they doing good. And actually, Kamala, her little plan or act is something like this. They dealing with the fact, well, if we look out for Black folks, this is gonna trickle down to everybody else, or some shit like that. And that's really that's a bunch of bullshit, because to me, it should be very focused on just Black people. You got asked the direct question about Black people. You start talking about, I understand the wealth disparities, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do? The government going to come in and basically say, well, the government going to come in and focus on certain areas. No, you ain't. No, you ain't. No, you ain't. No, you don't. That ain't what y'all do.
And it seems to be a moderately successful business at Bernie. I'm going Black guy. I'm going to the banks. I can't get a loan.
Can't get a loan at the bank.
So we got to deal with racism and discrimination within the financial services community, within the financial services industry. You got payday lenders. My God, unbelievable. You know what the interest rate for
he says we got to deal with the racism that are taking place at banks. And you've heard of this. You know that you've heard of, white banks denying Black people business loans and this stuff. He says we have to deal with it, but doesn't say how he going to deal with it. Doesn't say anything about how he's going to deal, but it has to be dealt with. You got to deal with the idea of white supremacy and really deal with institutional racism to get to the bottom of it. And he's not really focused on that. He just said it got to be dealt with.
On the most vulnerable and poorest people. So to answer your question,
payday loans.
And it's an agenda that we will fight vigorously for.
Yeah, that's what I want.
His agenda will fight vigorously for.
I would like to see federal government put more support into the black banks.
Absolutely.
Like that could help black entrepreneurs.
And not only black banks,
homeowners as well.
And black homeowners, but black business in this sense.
Correct.
In this sense. Unemployment now is quote unquote relatively low. But you go to African American communities and the youth unemployment rate is still unbelievably high. And you tell me, please tell me, what happens if you're a kid who drops out of high school who has no money?
You're probably going to turn into a life.
You got it.
Yeah.
What a waste. What a waste. So,
and see, that's a good point. And that's how they get us. That's how they get us. Because he said something that's real. He said something that's real. He said, well, if the unemployment rate amongst the youth is still high, if you don't have money, you're going to turn to a life of crime. That's real. That's a real thing. Poverty leads to crime. It just does. But still, nothing really being said about what the fuck he's going to do, how he plans on tackling it. He says something about, well, you know, white banks ain't giving black folk loans for their businesses. Well, what are you going to do about that? Are you going to make it illegal to deny a black person a loan? You could have just said that. I'll make that shit against the goddamn law. Could have said that. Black person go into a bank, they trying to get a loan, and they get denied a loan, then that's illegal. That'll become illegal. It'll be illegal to be racist. You damn sure ain't about to, you know, speak to the hearts of racists and get anything done like that. But he didn't say it was going to be illegal. He said something must be done about it. And he's not going to go run every bank and look over them. There won't be any oversight or any committee to oversight, or he didn't say anything like that. And I'm not even a politician. That's something I can think of just off the top of my head. Well, it need to be illegal to be racist. Really illegal to be racist. And he said that. Let's keep going.
You know, we got to invest in those things where we invest in housing. A lot of people in the African American community not making a lot of money, spending 50% of their income in housing, childcare.
Real.
We got to change that.
Taking 50% out
from the smallest thing, from car insurance is more expensive in the
Absolutely.
African area.
I know that.
Daycare is more expensive a lot of times in the African American area, but a lot of times we can't get loans. Like they will not give African American, black people, and minorities loans.
We met with some African American small business people in, I think, Las Vegas, Nevada, actually. And that's exactly what they were saying.
And what about HBCUs?
Absolutely.
And they go to the next sentence.
It is.
Now the HBCUs.
It is very big. They, I don't know the numbers, but as you know, a
lot of
significant
HBCUs
number
being shut down.
African American teachers, academics, professionals come out of the HBCU system, and they do a great job, and they're underfunded. So when I talk about making most of the, as I recall, most of the HBCUs are public institutions. Some are not, but we are going to pay a lot of attention to them.
Now, why did this?
He says, again, this is the game that they be playing. We just now recently here, there is a college here in North Carolina, Bennett, girl college, female college in Greensboro, that raised up the money, and still they shut the HBCU down. He said there are a lot of academic people, smart people that come out of HBCUs. He says, I'm very focused on that. And that's it. That's all he said. I'm focused on that. He focused on everything.
Like this week, you've been kind of dodging the reparations.
Reparations. Here we go.
Senator Harris and Senator Warren have both kind of spoken out and said that they agree with some form of reparations.
Well, the question is, what do we, I'm not dodging the question. The question is, what do we mean by?
He did dodge the fuck out of the reparations question. He actually ran. So for him to sit here and say he didn't run is bullshit. We saw you run. We saw you. Like, we saw you. She ran up on you, you broke weak. Your old ass broke weak, got the fuck up out of there. Now all of a sudden, no, I ain't run from it. I just, you know, they're not really being specific. You know, he gonna run that shit. Well, what is it? You know, you ran, motherfucker. Don't lie. You ran and you've been said no.
Reparations. I mean,
what is reparations?
It seems to a lot of people mean a lot of different things. To my mind, it means that we have to deal with the fact that there is enormous disparity between the Black community and the white community.
That issue
has got to be addressed, and I've indicated to you some of the ways that I think it should be addressed.
Well, I think they mean some type of economic empowerment to the African descendants of slaves.
What does that mean, economic empowerment? I just talked about the fact that I would.
You don't even know what economic empowerment is all of a sudden.
To make sure that we end racism, that we pay attention to distressed communities, that people get the loans they need to make the investments they need.
Also get cash payouts.
No.
How much you want, Sean?
Now, Charlemagne is on some bullshit. But basically, he's saying, well, through these other means that will equal reparations for Black people. It'll equal those things. Now, cash payout, he emphatically said no. Charlemagne said, what about cash? No. Emphatically said no. Now, a lot of people understand that Bernie is a Jewish motherfucker. White Jew, y'all know I don't really get into the whole Jewish white motherfucker. Now, his people got reparations from America. Actually, they got reparations when the shit jumped off. They got reparations again under Obama. Got them again under Obama. In the sum, I think it was $12 million when Obama was in there. Now, Obama has also said he's against reparations for Black folk. Y'all won't hold Obama accountable for saying no shit like that. Y'all won't hold him accountable. The best way to give Black folks reparations is for them to make the system not racist. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? When you hear anybody, I don't give a damn if it's Bernie, I don't care who it is. If you hear them talking about ending racism, ending institutional racism, or trying to call themselves ending institutional racism, we're going to create a system of fairness, and that'll be your reparations. No, motherfucker, that should be what it is anyway. That ain't got shit to do with anything we talking about here. If giving cash payouts to Jewish people, Asian people, Native American peoples, and a lot of y'all white folk went and signed up for those, so you got them. You went and got some of that shit too. What you mean? What are you talking about? No, not for Black folk. No cash payout for Black folk. Now, again, that doesn't mean reparations only means cash payout. A lot of people will try to be hard on the reparations. Oh, y'all niggas all just want money, blah, blah, blah. Y'all want free money. Fuck you. And fuck what you talking about. That's your logic. Y'all niggas gonna go buy J's with you. Don't worry about what the fuck we gonna do with our goddamn money. Who asked you? I don't give a damn if I go put goddamn 38s on a goddamn Corolla. That's my goddamn business. Don't you worry about it. Nobody went and checked and seen what the Jews did with their motherfucking money. Nobody checked and see what the Native Americans do with all their goddamn money. Nobody checked with the Asians to see what they did with their goddamn money. But when it comes to Black folk, you have other Black folks that, oh, niggas don't even know what to do with the money. The fuck you talking about? Don't worry about it. Y'all know damn well everybody not gonna be on code. That ain't got shit to do with nothing. So if any Black person coming out their motherfucking mouth talking about, oh, well, Black people just gonna go buy J's and weave, and I don't give a damn if a bitch buy bundles to her ankles. I don't care. That ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Run that money. And if you Black, shut your motherfucking ass up talking about Black folk don't know what to do with the money. You ain't said it about nobody else. You know them Jewish hoes went and bought. You don't know, they probably threw the biggest goddamn bar, man, blew all their money on a goddamn bar mitzvah. You don't know what they did with that money. You have no idea what they did with their money. Native Americans could have bought a goddamn tricked out TPs or whatever the fuck they want to do with their money. Don't worry about what Black folk gonna do with the money. Just run it. And then you can talk about what Black folk did with the money after we get it. Then we can have that conversation. But run it. What you mean, no? He said no. Ending institutional racism is equivalent of reparations for Black people. We'll just try to make the system a little bit more fair, and Black people should be fine. No. You just said, sitting here, talking about the goddamn wealth gap between black and white. You just got through talking about it. How the fuck do you think it got to be like that? How did that happen? You talking about a goddamn wealth gap. The average white person got more money in their bank account. Money. That's before we even get to actual wealth. But he gonna say no to that shit. Don't trust him or any other motherfucker coming out here saying, well, no, I don't think cash is the way. What you mean? Cash ain't the way for us? You gonna do something about racism? That's good enough for us? Motherfucker, it's supposed to be like that anyway. Y'all savage ass, sick ass, racist ass motherfuckers is the reason it's like that right now. That ain't got shit to do with us. You can fix that. Go and fix that, but they ain't got shit to do with this money. Run that. And if you hear any black person speaking against it, you need to sidearm, you need to write them motherfuckers off. Any black person talking about, oh, well, I don't know what black folk want reparations for anyway. They don't know what to do with the money. You need to goddamn look at them motherfuckers in the eye and call the motherfuckers what they are, a self-hating ass, backwards ass, stopping the progress of other black people ass coon. That's what they are. Simple. Don't matter what the fuck we gonna do with the money.
Why don't you agree with that?
Well, first of all, you mean just a check to every African American?
Yes.
Well, and there's a check to every Native American.
There you go.
Wiped out when the settlers first.
There you go. Listen.
I think the way we go.
Hold on, I'm gonna go back. I want y'all to hear this motherfucker. I want y'all black folk to support this mother. I want y'all to really hear this. I'm gonna go back. He said a check to. He basically saying, what you mean, a check to every African American? Listen to what he said.
What does that mean, economic empowerment? I just talked about the fact that I would do my best to change the banking system to make sure that we
banking system.
That we pay attention to the.
Who the fuck want to run to the bank and have to get loans
people
all the
get
time?
The loans they need to make the investments they need.
Yeah, about straight cash payouts.
No.
How would you want
Agree with that? Why don't you agree with that?
Well, first of all, you mean just a check to every African American?
Yes.
Well, and there's a check to every Native American who were
Native Americans.
When the settlers first came here. I think the way we go forward is to build America together. There are distressed communities, white communities, there are distressed Latino communities. Right now, what you have is a government owned and controlled by big money interests. Who worries about Wall Street and the drug companies. We're going to change that. And we're going to pay attention to the needs of working families and low-income families in this country in a way that you've never seen.
Now, he emphatically said no. And he said, if you're going to give a check to, the black people that are descendants of slaves, then you must give them as well to the Native Americans. Motherfucker, they already got their motherfucking... And this old motherfucker knows this. This is why you got to watch them. They already done got broke off. Land, casinos and shit. Certain types of sovereignty specific to them. So what you mean, if we get ours, they got to get more? This dude said there are white communities out here that are disparaged. Latino communities are disparaged. The way he doing that, we are the world bullshit. When when it comes to us, every time it comes to us, it comes to we are the world, Rainbow Coalition, everybody. There are white communities that are disparaged. That's the first thing he said. You just said the average white person got 4 times more money than the black person, and your motherfucking ass talking about white folk. This y'all's hero though. Bernie, Killer Mike's boy.
Has also systemically oppressed us in a way that they haven't
exactly
other communities.
Exactly.
Through slavery, through segregation, now mass incarceration.
Right.
And I think it should be something done specifically.
Exactly.
Well, and all of those issues, all right, we are going to deal with mass incarceration. And we're going to invest. I think at the end of the day, if we end the discrimination that exists in financial services, in healthcare, in education, if we guarantee healthcare to all people if we're working on a particular program, make sure that every person in this country has a job, because there's enough work to be done dealing with climate change, dealing with our crumbling infrastructure. I would suggest to you that not only the African American community, but every community will be a hell of a lot better off than they are today.
This is what I'm fucking talking about with this dude. And if you listen to the rest of these motherfuckers, they saying the same exact shit when it comes down to something specific for black folk. This is what they all, you know, these are the type of words they use. You gotta listen to these motherfuckers. And if you're a black person, you continue to support this motherfucker, then you lost your mind.
Democrats really believe in reparations for African Americans, or is just a good talking point for this
campaign
cycle?
I don't want to.
A talking point.
I don't want to speak for it.
Oh, he said he don't want to speak for it.
What about legalizing marijuana? And how can we ensure that African Americans get in on, because it seems like we're getting kind of blocked out in many ways.
That's a very good question.
Legalizing marijuana.
Yeah, they're saying you need a lot of assets, you need a lot of liquid to invest.
Even be able to get a license.
Well, this touches on the issue we have been discussing. Number one,
and we were so affected by these marijuana
laws. That's right. Absolutely. Okay, so two answers. I believe in the legalization of marijuana.
He believes in the legalization of marijuana. Back to marijuana.
Substance Act in Washington says you're caught with heroin, he's caught with marijuana. It's both the same level. That's insane. Okay. So I believe in the legalization of marijuana, which, by the way, will be a major step forward in the struggle for a fairer, less racist criminal justice system.
No,
Number two,
that's bullshit.
There are large corporations, your point, that are going to be making a whole lot of money. Suddenly, 10 years ago.
Now, again, he's saying that the legalization of marijuana going to make it fairer. No, it's not. That has nothing to do with any goddamn thing as far as fairness. No, it's not. System still racist.
Legalizing marijuana. Now these guys are going to make $1 zillion off it. And you're
that's
right,
a good
small
point.
Business people in the African American community.
These white folks making billions off of marijuana.
Few times.
Okay.
Didn't do a whole lot for me. My recollection is I nearly coughed my brains out, so it's not my cup.
So you think we should be guaranteed to get a certain percentage of these opportunities?
I don't know what a guarantee looks like, but like in many other areas, your point is well taken. That the corporations are moving in. They're moving in on hemp. Okay. This is a problem that we have above and beyond marijuana. In that area after area in this country, you have a small number of corporations control the action.
That's real.
The issue of marijuana is particularly sensitive.
And that's real. This is why you got to watch out for motherfuckers like him. You got to watch out because that is real. Because there are a small group of corporations that come in and take over the whole block. That's a real thing. They actually do that. That's why you got to watch out for the shit that he says, because he says some real shit as far as when he's talking about, dealing with big banks, which was essentially dealing with big corporation, big farm. You got to be careful with him when he talks, because he's saying real shit.
So many African Americans who have been arrested. My memory is correct. Well, I don't know what it is, but it's been disproportionately African American and Latino.
You have to start remembering things, Senator Sanders, because they're always on you about being too old. So you can't be acting like you're forgetting things all the time.
Oh man,
well, there's too much to remember.
What do you think about Howard Schultz running, and do you think that's going to affect the Democrats? Some people think it might be.
Now, if you don't know anything about Howard Schultz, he's just another rich white man who's going to run for president.
I don't know that we need another billionaire to be running for president. Anyone wants to run, they can run. I think his views are certainly very different than mine. Your question is, will he split the vote and help elect Trump? Don't know. What can I say?
I was going to ask about that as well. When you ran last time, a lot of the people that followed you and rode with you to the end. Like they would rather not vote than to vote for Hillary.
Yeah, they weren't going from Bernie to Hillary.
They weren't going from Bernie to Hillary, and that's part of the reason why I think that Donald Trump was in. How do we make sure that regardless of what happens, that the Democratic Party is united?
Good question. So let me say what I think I said a few minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do everything I can to be the Democratic nominee. I think I am the strongest candidate to defeat Trump. I think I can win in states that Secretary Clinton lost: Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Ohio, etc. What I pledge to you, and what I've said already, is that if I am not the nominee, I will do everything I can, as I did when Secretary Clinton was the candidate. I knocked my brains out. resent a little bit some of the criticism that comes of me.
Y'all notice they still talking about votes. They talking about losing states. They talking about, you know, things like that, but they won't deal with the motherfucking electoral college. I told y'all they never deal with the electoral college. They keep acting like that Trump just, you know, Hillary lost the popular vote. When they talk about, well, she lost this state, that state, that state. She won the popular vote by 3 million votes. They do not talk about that shit. They will not get on here and deal with that at all in any type of way. None of them. None of them deal with that. Why? We're going to start asking ourselves why they won't deal with the electoral college. Because that's why Donald Trump's president. It ain't got shit to do with nothing else.
You know, I ran all over this country. I think we did 35 rallies in, I don't know, 13, 14 states to get her elected. Now, your point is, well, some Bernie supporters did not vote for Hillary. Yeah. True, but that always happens. Think back in 2008 when Obama ran against Clinton in the primary, okay? A far greater number of people who voted for Clinton ended up voting for John McCain, okay? And did not vote for Obama. That was the case in my race. So it always happens, you know, that some people are going to flake off. But I did my best to say, we got to do everything we can not to elect this guy, Donald Trump. And, you know, getting back to Trump for a moment.
Of course.
You know, I'm thinking back that even before he was president and he was the leader of the anti-birther movement, remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, just think about this. Think about
now you want to go
trying to
further villainize Trump.
What trying to do is delegitimize. That's a big deal. To say, oh, Barack Obama, he's not a real president. Constitutionally, he wasn't born in America.
Now he's trying to show black people, look.
Now he's turning his divisiveness against the Latino community, against immigrants. And, you know, the theme of this campaign.
You remember how racist he was towards Obama?
Trump has tried to do. He has tried to divide us up by the color of our skin, where we were born, our religion.
And see, this is what you got to watch out for. This dude just said Trump trying to divide us per our skin color, religion, and all that shit. This America, 3Ks, don't get this shit fucked up, incorporated. It's been like this. And until these politicians deal with that reality, it was like that when Obama was the president. It was like that for Clinton, Bush, and you can keep going backwards. It's been like that. White folk been racist as fuck. These people, when they have their little secret gay-ass Bohemian Grove roundtable meetings, they racist as fuck. That's how it is. They continue to act like Donald Trump just brought in this movement. The Klan was marching when Barack Obama was president. I remember doing videos about the Klan marching and shit. They've been racist. These institutions been denying black people, business loans. That's not new. Trump didn't make that happen. If you hear Democrats trying to, you know, push racism off on Donald Trump, then you know damn well them motherfuckers are using people's would-be hate and disdain with Donald Trump to try to garner votes or to try to garner support. And it's not real shit. If you're not going to deal with the fact that racism been here, it's going to be here when your motherfucker, if you win the presidency, it'll be here then. It don't matter if Donald Trump win again. None of that shit matters. These white motherfuckers are just racist. And these same racist motherfuckers are head of several institutions. They are judges. They are lawyers. They are doctors. They are dentists. They own banks. They own hospitals. That's the reality of it. These motherfuckers keep acting like Trump came in here and put some divide in people. That's bullshit. They try to villainize this dude, which they can. I'm not saying that Donald Trump, he's not worth a fuck. But it's been like this. Anybody arguing otherwise is trying to get you to believe that, get your black ass to believe that they on your side. He don't give a fuck about no damn racism. He don't give a fuck about that.
Bring our people together around an agenda that works for all of us.
Given everything that's happening with everyone around him being investigated, do you think that he could potentially get impeached? And would you like to see that happen?
Well, as a member of the United States Senate, my constitutional responsibility will be to be a judge. That's my job. If the House impeaches and the Senate judges. So, you know, I can't comment on that. I have to listen to the evidence. I think what we will see, presumably pretty quickly, is the Mueller investigation coming to an end. We will find out whether or not there was collusion or whether there were other possible
impeaching your boy
offenses. But I think, what we saw with this guy, Stephen Cohn, this week, confirming basically everything that all of us know. That Trump is a liar, he is a racist,
white
he's
people,
a fraud.
white people.
Michael Cohen.
Michael Cohen, I'm sorry.
What about all these women that come forward and had these allegations against Trump, having harassed them, pull them in, kiss them, and somehow it just gets brushed over? And I'm not understanding why people don't take that seriously.
Well, you know what?
They said there was a young lady that asked the other day about you having harassment claims in your campaign as well, and you said that you were upset about that. Yeah. So it's kind of the same thing.
Well, no, it's not about me. It's about my campaign, which had 1,200 employees, and I am.
There was some sexual harassment going on in his
campaign quite quickly, and there were problems in it. I don't deny it, and I'm embarrassed by it. That ain't going to happen again. We have now instituted, I think, the strongest protocol to protect women or anybody against sexual harassment. But to answer your question, the problem with dealing with Trump is that every day there is another outrage. It's hard to keep track of it. And the media says, my God, look at what we learned yesterday and then today. So I think that's kind of part of the problem.
Don't you think the Democrats focus too much on being anti-Trump, which they should, but instead of actually telling
that's a good point.
What they plan to do to make the country.
That's a good point.
Because I don't think you can win on just the anti-Trump. I'm not just going to vote for you just because you're the anti-Trump.
You're absolutely right. Yeah. All right. And that's why you've heard me talk today about an agenda that says if you are billionaires, you ain't going to get any more tax breaks. We're going to demand that you start paying your fair share of tax. Healthcare is a right. We're going to provide universal childcare. We are going to take on the pharmaceutical industry.
Universal childcare.
You're right. You cannot simply be anti-Trump. You got to give the American people a vision of where we want to take this country.
When did you decide that you wanted to run again? When did you know you wanted to throw your hat in the ring?
Well, my wife is 10 feet away from me, and she will confirm that this was the most difficult decision we've ever made. And we anguished over it. We really did. Because when you run for office, that the whole, especially when you're prepared to take on the big money interest, they're going to go after you. And they are. Already they're going after us. So, we thought about it a whole lot. I'm proud of my state of Vermont. I love representing Vermont.
Of course. Represent Vermont. It's
but
like
at the end of the day,
maybe 3.5 black people there.
We ended up concluding that I am the strongest candidate.
But he, so pro-black.
We know you stand for equality. We know you stand for justice. But some people feel like with this field of Democrats, with all of these women and these black candidates, some people feel like the best thing for you to do would be to move out of the way. What do you think?
Well, obviously I don't. Look, I understand that. I understand. But again, I think that
that was a bullshit question.
That
what are you gonna say?
Need to do is
what are you gonna say to that shit?
I am perhaps the strongest.
Bernie, they said you need to get the fuck out of the way.
And I would ask people to take a look at what I stand for. Okay. And I think if you look at my life history, it's not only involved in civil rights. It's taken on the job.
Okay, here we go.
Taking on Wall Street. And I would hope people.
You're going back to civil rights and shit now.
Well, let's talk about that, because Van Jones said that he feels like black people are going to be what determines the next president. So when we talk about
and Van Jones said that black people are going to be the
examples. Can you point?
Van Jones said that black people going to be the next deciders of the election. Let me tell y'all something. We just talked about this. We talked about this on my last show. They love trying to guilt black people into the vote is hanging. It's riding on us. It's on us, y'all. Get your ass out to the polls. This vote is on you. Now, Van Jones is a known coon. At this point, he's a known coon. They want to always say, always, black people, it's on you. It's on y'all this time. It's always on us. Y'all notice that? It's always on us, and it's always a racist in office being the president, or either somebody that y'all deemed as black that ain't doing shit for black folk, but it's always on us. That's bullshit, which is why these motherfuckers come out pandering to us like this anyway. They want us to believe that it is on us, to get us down to the polls, to make sure that we are continuing to believe in this bullshit ass system. It's always on us. Let me go back a little bit, because he goes into talking about Bernie's civil rights, and there ain't but about 8 minutes left of this, and then I'm gonna take some of y'all's questions. So hold some of your questions for a second.
Like black people are going to be what determines the next president. So when we talk about like your record with Black people, what examples can you point at?
What examples?
Black people, this is what I have done specifically for issues that deal with y'all.
Good question.
What have you done specifically as far as issues concerning Black people?
You know, I don't talk about this very often, but
he don't talk about it often.
When I was a student in college, I was a member of a group that no longer, I think, exists, the Congress on Racial Equality. Call ring a bell? Yeah, yeah, but it was a.
This dude said when he was young, I'm going to go down through the whole thing. He said when he was young, he was on in a group called CORE, Congress on Racial Equality. He said he don't know if it still exists or not. How the fuck you don't know if it's that real to you? If dealing with racism is that real to you, how you don't know if the organization even exists or not anymore? How the fuck can you say that and be okay with that? Like Congress on Racial Equality, you don't know if they exist or not still, but you was on it though. Like
one of the prominent civil rights groups in the early 60s.
In the 60s.
We took on segregated housing owned by the University of Chicago. We held the first sit-in demonstration ever held in the North. Okay, I got arrested.
Dealt with some housing discrimination.
In 1963.
In 63.
This does speak to my age, I guess. I was at the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom.
He was at the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom.
So I think I have a long history in civil rights activism. In 1988, I was one of the few white public officials who supported Jesse Jackson.
Now this is from 63 to 88. Now, just simple. If you done dedicated yourself to equality, the last thing you did was in 63, you come back in 88. That's 25 years of nothing. Just nothing. You go 63, you marched for equality and shit like that, you know. Then in 88, you pushed for Jesse Jackson to be the president. These are your defining moments in life.
For president of the United States.
25 years break.
I think if you look at my record in terms of civil rights and other areas, you will find that it is consistently a very, very strong.
Any legislation you can point to?
Any legislation you can point to?
Legislation that benefits African Americans, yeah, we passed, but not specifically.
Not specifically, though. You know, any legislation you work on the Senate. You just talked about the fact that you work on the Senate, which is why you couldn't answer a question earlier. You couldn't even say anything earlier because you said you're a member of the Senate. You've been in there for a while. Nothing specifically, you know, no legislation. But I marched for equality with King them back in 63. I was on CORE. I don't know if they still out here or not, but yeah, I fucked with CORE a little bit, and then I did the thing with Martin Luther King down in 63, and then in 88 I suggested that, you know, I was with Jesse Jackson. I was one of the only white people that even suggested that he run real quick. Remember, because that was in 88, and legislation. Nothing specifically, but I was clapping while black folk was talking about equal rights, and that has to count for something. I mean, I'm white. That's all I have to do, right? Is clap when black people talk about equality. Clap for Martin Luther King's dream. All I have to do is say I support it. That's all white folk have to do. That's all we require of them. Of course you support integration. Of course. Because you knew we wasn't going to bang. Of course you will march for whoever civil's rights is. Whoever civil is, we don't know. But when it comes to black rights, specific black legislation, you know, shit, man, I support it. But you work on the Senate. Please.
If you had to pick a person of color to be your running mate,
Too early to say.
Too early.
Much too early.
Too early to say.
But as I mentioned, we're going to have a very diverse.
Diverse. Y'all know they love using that word
in
diversity.
And a very diverse cabinet.
Very diverse
everything. This is the headline. The headline says you hired an illegal immigrant.
Where was this headline?
It was on Washington. I think it was Washington Examiner. I saw it. Yeah, it came out like 15 hours ago.
It was his deputy national press secretary, but she's an undocumented, I guess she's an illegal immigrant, but she's protected by DACA. So right now she's here protected by that, but I guess.
Why is,
you look like it's the first time you're hearing about it.
Well, stick with me. Every day, every minute, there's going to be something else.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know anything about it. But we have people, certainly, I have somebody in my office in the DACA program. These are people who are.
He hired people in the DACA program.
Raised in this country. They spent their entire life in this country. And we have got to provide them with legal status.
I think she came from Argentina, I believe, when she was like 7. And now she's protected because of DACA. She's a dreamer.
Right. So, that's supposed to be a criticism.
DACA was pushed through.
Yeah, well, I don't take it as a criticism.
I think this was one of Obama's babies. One of Obama's babies was DACA.
Put DACA young people, and in fact, we got to fight as hard as we can.
If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong.
Yeah, hopefully her speaking out will help people understand that might have prejudices against that, the importance of protecting the dreamers who are in our country.
Absolutely. Why do you think you ran into so many issues in the South in 2016?
Look, again, let's go back. I started off this campaign. You know what I was in 2016? You know what number I was in the polls when we started? I was at 3%. All right. And we ended up winning a strong majority of young people, Black and white and Latino and Asian American and Native American.
Why you have so many problems with the South?
When you start a campaign and nobody knows who you are, especially in the African American. I'm from Vermont. Who knew me in South Carolina? But as the campaign progressed, I think we did stronger and stronger.
What's the most painful part of campaigning? I feel like they dig up
I'm taking these questions.
Well, above and beyond you guys, you know. Yeah. Look, I tell you, you just did it right now. You did it. Every day, they're attacking my wife.
Yeah.
Right, you like to run for office and find the lying about your wife? Or your kids? Or every day there's somebody else? Look, they can't debate on the issues. They can't defend the fact that we have massive income and wealth inequality, or we have racism, or sexism. So what are they going to do? They're going to try to rip you apart. And is that painful? Yeah, it's painful. And it's when you asked me, you asked me about running for office. Was it a difficult decision? When did we decide? Yeah, that's one of the things you consider. How would you like that? And it's not just me. It's like a game. You go out there and you run. Oh, okay. But you know what opposition research? You got an industry in Washington, D.C. who will go through every bloody thing that happened in your life. And they'll lie. They'll dig up dirt and they lie. And is that fun? No, it's not.
And sometimes it's your own colleagues too, because they're also running for office, and it's very crowded right now. People who are throwing their hat in the ring, and that means people that you have worked with and consider to be friends. They might have to say negative things about you.
Well, listen, I hope, that's an important point. I would hope that certainly on the Democratic side, because I know, well, I don't know all.
They ask them unimportant questions now. Like, they ain't got shit. What's the hardest thing? They sound like they goddamn in kindergarten. You know, when a firefighter comes in, and they ask a firefighter, like, what's the hardest thing about being a firefighter? Like, Breakfast Club, just the way they're conducting a lot of this interview it's not structured properly. They're not asking them tough enough questions. Who gives a fuck what the hardest thing is about running the president? Who cares about that? That's not important to the issues at all. Like, what the fuck they got to do with anything? Well, the hardest thing is they attacking my wife, and they're gonna dig up dirt on me, and that's the hardest thing. And dude, get the fuck out of here, man. What type of question is that? I wouldn't even.
This is literally down the hallway from mine in the Dirksen office.
Like, get the fuck out of here.
You know these guys for a long period of time, and I would hope
Breakfast Club bullshit when that type of question.
We will focus on the issues and not get into that kind of ugly personal.
Now, what about when Donald Trump goes at you and he's a nasty individual?
Calls you crazy, Bernie.
Are you ready to go?
You remind him of Doc Brown off Back to the Future.
Did he say that? Or did you make that up?
Doc Brown off Back to the Future. That is pretty funny. I'll give him that.
Are you going to get back nasty?
That's pretty funny. Y'all don't know shit about Back to the Future.
Let's see. We began the program by saying that he is a pathological liar.
Yeah.
a fraud, an authoritarian, a racist, a sexist, a homophobe, a xenophobe, and a religious bigot.
We need some more.
Racist, a con man, and a cheat.
And those are all the compliments.
That's what that's a bad thing to say about it. But let me get back to the serious note about Trump.
Now we're back to Trump.
Here's a guy who tried to throw 32 million people off of health care. Here's a guy whose budget calls for massive cuts in Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security. But you know what the ugliest thing about this guy is? This is the ugliest. And this is really
the ugliest thing about Trump. Now he about to tell us.
His tan skin, I don't know. His orange skin.
And they still joking.
See,
this is motherfuckers to be joking.
You even take conservative Republicans like Bush and his father. Right? These guys did not spend their lives trying to divide.
You see,
they were not progressives by any means.
This motherfucker comes in here and says that Bush and his daddy wasn't trying to divide. They're a different type of racist than Donald Trump, even though they're in the Republican Party. You got to be careful with these motherfuckers with this shit too. They ain't no different type of racist. I don't give a fuck. Because when you go down and you doing and signing legislation against black people, then you the same type of motherfucking racist. I don't give a damn if you come out here and kiss all the black babies at the whole Baptist church. I don't care about that. When you go sit and have your round table meetings, I'm not going to sit here and say Bush was supposed to be better than Trump. There's a better. He didn't try to, or the Bushes didn't try to racially divide the country. Like, what the fuck do you mean? Like, you can't say shit like that. It will be real for a president to say, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, all these motherfuckers been racist against black people the whole goddamn time. And that's the truth. They've signed legislation that targets black people the whole time. I don't give a damn who they are. Donald Trump might be whatever, but that doesn't change the fact. If you look at legislation signed and passed, every president that's ever came out been racist against black folk. Period. But no, he's gonna try to throw the Bushes in like they was better.
But that you go around, what most presidents understand. We have one country, right? Bring people together. You gotta have disagreements on healthcare.
Bring people together. Who are you talking about?
Fine. But you don't go out of your way, right? To split this country up. That's disgusting. And that is what he is doing.
Well, Bernie gotta go, guys.
Yeah, this is my final question, because I want him to clear this up, because this is a headline. Have you ever gotten a massage at the Orchards of Asia Day Spa in Florida?
That is not a headline.
The answer is no. Okay. All right.
This man asked him that. Like, Charlemagne is messy as fuck. Bernie White, this is why you can't take these motherfuckers seriously, man. You can't take them seriously. This dude, we done with this shit. We done with this shit. You gonna ask him that? His wife, old ass, sitting right there. You gonna ask him that shit? This is why you can't take these motherfuckers seriously, man. But if you notice what Bernie did, was Bush and them was better, They was a better brand of racist. They weren't like, Trump. He's actively trying to divide the country. Listen, y'all, if you have any questions, comments, go ahead and put them in here now. I'm actually looking at y'all's comments now. I haven't been really reading the comments, been dealing with, we've been doing this over here. Hopefully, y'all enjoyed that. It's something I may do more often. Different interviews, not just on Bernie's ass, but different interviews that y'all might see, and y'all may want me to come do a live commentary on. It might be something I incorporate into what I do, and we'll pause and we'll deal with the bullshit that people be talking about. This is my first time doing that shit, but it may be something I incorporate here. Y'all just let me know what y'all thought about that. But I'm now reading y'all's comments. If you have anything you want to say about Bernie, if you support Bernie, if you support the presidency as a whole, like, I don't really see how anybody could consciously support this type of system. Consciously support this type of system. Consciously. I don't know how you could do that and be a black person at the same time. At least not one that's thinking, because we have to understand, and this is one of the key points that I make, even when we're dealing with this reparations push, we have to understand that even with the nuance, and I won't say nuance, I'm just going to call the actual hashtag the nuance. Most Black people don't care if these politicians deal with reparations. Most Black people agree with these politicians, and when they say shit like, well, we weren't slaves. I seen y'all's girl Candace Owens. Candace Owens is a Black conservative. They want to deem themselves, they have a whole little group of Black conservatives. Candace Owens says, well, she don't even understand anything as far as dealing with slavery because she ain't never been a slave in this country. So she disconnects herself from the reality that was slavery, the economic empowerment that this country built. A lot of Black people act like that. Even if they're not Republican, a lot of Black folk don't really give a fuck if these candidates address reparations. And those Black people who don't give a fuck gonna be the ones to pose. They're gonna be the ones to pose because they believe in the pose anyway. The hard part for ADOS, the hard part for any Black movement, whether even before that was Pan-Africanism, it doesn't matter what the movement is convincing Black people to give a fuck. That's the hardest part of any movement. That's the hardest part of anything as far as liberation is concerned, is getting Black folk, the 50 million plus, to actually care about that. That's going to be the hard part. That's going to be the very, very, very difficult part for any movement. But let me see. Ishan Mian says, Bernie's overall agenda. What are your thoughts on stuff like free college, Medicare for all, and no wars? I think Bernie has a better agenda for the country, and I'm not a single issue voter. I mean, the way Bernie talks, his talk game, if you paid attention to his first campaign, this is not different. See, I don't know whether you're just now catching up to Bernie Sanders. I was, paying attention to his first campaign. Back when he was running in 2016, he's running on the same platforms. He's running on the same type shit he was saying in 2016, which he alluded to several times. And that's why I kept going back to, well, if you remember in 2016 when I ran, he can do that because he ran on these same, I agree with some of his talking points. Free college, hell the fuck yeah, who's gonna disagree with that? Free healthcare, who can disagree with that? It doesn't make sense to disagree with that at all. No wars, who can disagree with that? You see, he even talked about free daycare. Who can disagree with that? You can't disagree with the points. He just doesn't have a very clear plan of how you're going to get this stuff done. Especially if you're taking it on yourself. Because I believe in my heart that it's not going to come through a president. It's going to take people, the middle, lower class people, working class people, to start being mad about it. See, we complain about it. We'll complain about, God damn, this bill high as hell. Even just bills, for example. But then what'll happen if don't nobody pay bills at all? You see, we don't never really factor in what'll happen if we unplug. Well, I do. I factor that in all the time. We just should unplug from the system. College would have been free if motherfuckers stopped going. Now, that may sound crazy. That may sound out of this world. But these are institutions that rely on money. If don't nobody go, they're gonna be forced to be in a situation where they gotta do something. And if people say, well, motherfucker, you're gonna lower that bitch and we ain't coming, they wouldn't have a choice. We would essentially have them by the balls. Just like if don't nobody pay their goddamn light bill all of next 2 months or 3 months because they take a while to turn it off. If everybody like, man, fuck these lights, that bill too high. What they gonna do? To me, the power is in the people. We don't realize it. That's why we keep appointing saviors. That's why we keep trying to find saviors. To me, Medicare, if motherfuckers be like, man, fuck this shit, I'm not taking it no more. Even I think Envy mentioned car insurance. Man, fuck this shit, I'm not taking this shit no more. I'm not paying y'all shit. I'm not giving you shit. You want to come turn it off? Turn everybody in the whole goddamn nation shit off. To me, that's where the power is. For us to take ourselves out of the system. But people tell me that shit's crazy. What's smart to us is appointing somebody like Bernie Sanders, whether it be Barack Obama, Donald Trump, Bush or whoever the president may be, Elizabeth Warren or Williamson, Booker, Harris. The power is in unplugging. Man, these car payments too high. Stop paying them. But everybody got to do it. See, we can't have it where most people doing it is you, because then they're going to come take your shit. You see, they're going to come take your shit. Your lights will be off. You know, that don't, it don't work like that. But if we ever decide to unite, really unite as a people, now again, this is transcending race, because we're dealing with working class people, the people that make this country run, the people that runs this consumer market. That's us. That is us. That's the people, regardless. Working class people. This is above race. If everybody was just like, man, what are they gonna do? Car payments too high? Stop paying them. They gonna come take everybody's car? What are they gonna do? Because the repo man can't take his own car. I guess, does the repo man have to pay it? I mean, I guess I don't know how that works. If the repo man don't pay his shit, like who come takes his shit? I don't know how the schematics of how it fully works. But that's the type of, it's the powers in the people. Now, we've heard this stuff before. We've heard it. We've heard it. We heard power to the people. We'll say power to the people, power to the people, but we don't act on it. We don't fully believe in it. Because the real power is, we're power into whoever this is that we're going to back to come represent us in the corrupt government. That's what we're really saying. Most of the time. Which is why we're talking about voting. Why we're talking about, well, not voting. Or why we're talking about, well, tangibles, motherfucker. Because we think somebody about to run in there and do something, you see. We think somebody about to run in there and do something. And that's what we fucked up at. Burma Man says Bernie came up empty in the BC interview, could not articulate a clear and wait, I don't know, a clear and cogent black agenda. I don't know what word you, unless you are saying cogent. I would say clear, maybe cohesive or not cohesive. I don't know what you're saying there. I don't know. But a clear black agenda, pushing a universalist message, trickle down agenda. We deserve more than teaspoons at a time justice. I completely agree. I completely agree. But if you go look at the comments, now you got people in the comments on this video that's ADOS and they calling them out. No tangibles, no vote. Fuck you, nigga. Or goddamn, fuck you, cracker. See, I'm still working on this shit. You know, fuck you, fuck what you're talking about. You're not talking about tangibles. We ain't voting for your ass at all. So don't you even worry about it. We ain't listening to you. We're not listening to nothing you saying. That trickle down bullshit, that's when they start doing that together and everybody and all. And that's what we're supposed to accept. And to black people, that's a win. This is why when they talk about diversity, our ears perk up. When they talk about civil, our ears perk up. We get excited. Oh, civil rights. No, that doesn't have a direct, it's not you directly. It's not you specifically. So therefore, it shouldn't excite you. It shouldn't excite you at all. But we have to do better about that. Stop accepting these goddamn crumbs. Stop accepting these crumbs. That's what we have been doing thus far. And that's our fault. Floto Gang says, why Bernie never brought up JFK? Because he know. And I don't even know what he believes about JFK, per se. You know. I have no idea what he actually believes about JFK. But why would he ain't gonna bring that shit up. You can be real to a certain degree. He also didn't bring up, and I mentioned this on my Facebook, not my Facebook page, but actually my Instagram page the other day, the bank bailout of 2008. $700 billion. That's one of the first things. George Bush actually got it going. Barack Obama came in and, you know, and got that going as well. Continue to bail out the banks instead of letting them fail. Now, these banks will run on this free market enterprise. That's what they say. Oh, it's free market. Capitalism. Everybody talk about the success. And when you hear people talk about capitalism, they talk about it like it's a foolproof ideology. 2008, showed is not a foolproof ideology. But what happens when you are a big bank is that you have a government that will come and bail you out. It ain't for us. Now we get out here and gamble our money on the motherfucking crap table down in goddamn Nevada or something at one of these Native American casinos. Let's say we go to one of them, you know, because we trying to be, you know, supportive of the indigenous peoples and all this shit. Go to one of them and lose all your goddamn money. Get back home, tell your rent man, say, hey, man, look, shit got real, man. I don't know what the fuck was going on. I lost it. I saw the card. I thought I had the card. Them motherfucker, your ass will be on the street. This has never worked for anybody, one individual person. But for the big banks, it worked. They crapped their motherfucking money out. Bad deals, illegal deals. Millions of Americans, not just black folk, millions of American people lost their fucking retirement, 401ks, everything. Out on the street, had to sell their house and everything. Bail the banks out. Guess where them people at? Still in the goddamn street. This is in America, incorporated, 3Ks incorporated, that can happen in. And nobody even cares. I'm sitting here watching this shit the other day. I think it was something on Netflix. And I like watching shit like that. I'll sit around and watch stuff that many people may consider boring and all this shit, but I'll watch stuff about big money. The money game. American finances. I'll watch shit like that. This shit happened in 2008 and the world kept moving. Nobody said anything. I remember when Barack was in, when he came in, and I talked about this. I told black folk, y'all done went and voted for this motherfucker, and he didn't bail you out. Actually, he said he couldn't bail you out, but he can bail out these banks, though. Black folk didn't care. Still don't care to this day. Don't give a fuck about that. This motherfucker just now talked about George Bush on here, but he did not mention that George Bush is the one who got this thing rolling to bail the banks out. He said George Bush is better than Trump. That's all he had to say. Well, the Bushes, they was this dude out here trying to run around dividing people, you see. Didn't say anything about the goddamn bailout. $700 billion of your money, our money, taxpayer money, bail these banks out. Those people still in the goddamn street. Still lost their job. I mean, when you watch specials about shit like Imran and some of these Bernie Madoff and some of these motherfuckers that are taking all this money. Now, they locked the motherfuckers from Imran up. They locked Bernie Madoff's ass up. But the big banks, $700 billion bailout, people still in the street, and they took that money and went on vacation. Nobody cares. Nobody gives a fuck. I see some of y'all talking about Muammar Gaddafi. That was Obama and Hillary Clinton, 3Ks. Don't get her shit fucked up either. She was the Secretary of Defense at the time, but Obama had to sign off on that shit. So it's not like, well, it was Hillary. No, it was Obama. It was both them bitches. It was both of them. And if you look at the Obamas, speaking of the Bushes, if you look at the, actually, you can look directly at Michelle Obama's relationship with George Bush, the younger one. If you look at their relationship, nobody says anything about Michelle Obama about that shit. Nothing said. Nothing. I haven't seen that. Roxanne Looney says, have you watched the Panama Papers? All this money rich folks stealing and nobody cares. Man, I haven't seen that. But when you start dealing with these goddamn, some of these hedge companies and the goddamn mortgage companies, people that give mortgages, a lot of these loaning businesses, they be doing fucked up shit all the time. It just don't nobody get. Wall Street, corrupt as fuck. Corrupt. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. And that's where we, as a people, we got to start being mad. Even when I watched the documentary I watched, then I'd already done my research on the 2008 big bank bailout. I did my research on that. But even when I saw this shit, you see people out in the street protesting. They're protesting against the banks. This is people of all colors protesting in the streets. 2 weeks go by, protests go away. And most other people in the world, in this country, in this nation, don't give a fuck. We continue. We just keep rolling. We allow injustice to happen to our people all the time, and we keep rolling. We allow these motherfuckers to give us excuses of why they can't help us. Why won't you give that $700 billion to the people that just got robbed? Why the fuck would you give it back to the banks? They said, well, you got to give it to the banks because they're needed. We need those banks because that's that whole trickle-down mentality. Give it to the people who lost their fucking house, who lost their 401k. But no, the people ain't good enough for $700 billion. Get that to the banks so they can get back to work. Because that money got pulled. This is why, again, I hear none of these politicians talking about lobbying and what lobbying is, lobbyist. I don't hear them talking about that. To me, that's important. To me, that's very important because that is corrupt. That is the seeds of corruption. It's the fact that if you got money, you can go in here and lobby for whatever the fuck you want to happen. Y'all here to talk about the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Koch brothers. You'll hear, and you may not be privy to these people, but if you've been, on this shit for a while like I have, this is the type of shit that they do and they can do. And they just old as fuck out here living a so-called best life. And nobody cares. That's what it is. And we don't care. Because without us, these motherfuckers don't make money. Us as consumers, us as laborers, without us, this shit doesn't move. Period. But we're still in the idea that we're going to appoint a savior and send them in there. And they're going to get it done. It's not going to work like that. Never going to work like that. In my opinion. Based on observation. Observer, you say what? I need a way that people can call and talk. Oh shit. Okay. People have suggested that. People want to call up here and ask me stuff. People have suggested that. I'll work on that. I'll work on that. I really will. I will work on that. People want to call and talk to me. I know a lot of shows do. I think a lot of the live shows have ways that people can call in. And I've done it before, I've done it before. I've talked to people on the phone before. I've always gotten really positive feedback. Positive feedback from talking to people and stuff on the phone. So I'll work on that for y'all. Now don't rush me. Don't rush me, but I will work on that for real. Y'all say hurry up. Go on, wait. Carlos R. He said, Rob, you should go on Joe Rogan and get a big platform. Joe Rogan don't want to hear the fuck I gotta say, man. He like people. Joe Rogan, the type white man that like people that's kind of got, inside of them. They still have to appease white people. They have to involve white people. He's under that type of mindset. Man, I don't watch a show. Somebody sent me a clip of Killer Mike was on this show. And Killer Mike, one of those want to involve, he one of them types. So, Joe Rogan that would make sense for him to be on there, but I'm not really in that mindset. I'm not really in that mindset. And Joe Rogan ain't gonna come holler at me. He's not gonna come holler at me. Floto Game says, was Obama a reparation? Possibly no. Obama wasn't a reparation. Obama was used to make y'all go to sleep. Black folks slept for 8 years when Obama was president. Slept. We didn't have time to sleep. We didn't have time to do any type of sleeping. Obama came in and y'all slept for 8 years straight. Trump got in office and y'all woke up a little bit. Not enough, in my opinion. But it got y'all at least having different types of conversations. It didn't cause a mass awakening like some people were acting like he was going to do. No. Because black people got to understand the black mentality, first and foremost, has to be dealt with. Because in a system of racism and white supremacy, the idea of white supremacy, in this system, black people just want to get along. They want to be able to pay their car payment, pay their health insurance, go get a root canal if they need one, take their kids' teeth to get them cleaned, buy their kids some school clothes, keep their lights and stuff on. And as long as black folk can do that, they don't care about racism by and large. They don't care about racism and the idea of white supremacy, the institutional racism. They don't really care about that stuff. They can go get a fresh lineup, you know what I'm saying? Go out on the weekends to the club, you know, jump in some DMs whenever they get ready, you know. We go to church and pray it all the way, you know, and got fucked up and go to church on Sunday and pray it away. People don't care. That's our problem. We are content. Obama put people to sleep. Trump haven't woke black people up enough. Because now you got black people that's blaming racism on Trump. That's where we are now. Blaming racism on Trump. So then I know we're not paying attention. Because this type of shit people will say. Man, that Trump sure is racist. Okay. The system is racist as fuck, though. How about that? No, that's Trump. Trump did that, man. He done emboldened these white folk, man. No, he didn't. Your cowardice did. That's what emboldened white folk. That's what continues to embolden white folk. You being a coward. You holding your goddamn phone, recording. This is what emboldens white folk. You crying all over the goddamn news when some white person call you a nigger. That's what's emboldening these white folk. You begging, wanting them to treat you right. Still, that's what's emboldened these white folk. That's what happened. Sharonda says, I've witnessed more slayings by the way of cops on Obama's watch. Because it was cool. I mean, it's going to continue to be cool. But Obama didn't give a fuck about that. And when people got mad in Baltimore, all he did was say they were thugs. That's it. But he's still black people's forever president. Still. That's all you see. I wish he could come back for 4 more years. Please. For what? Come back and do what? I saw a picture. Somebody sent me a picture earlier of his daughter hugged up with some white boy. And they was like, well, look at these comments, you know, the comments from people clapping her up, you know, being with the white boy. But I don't know what they would expect from a daughter of an Obama. That man ain't been no proud black man like that. That ain't, I don't know, that ain't the campaign he ran on. That man ran on it. I'm here for everybody. I'm everybody's president, and that's what we got. People cried off just seeing his face in there. They want to see Michelle's dresses again because she's the flyest. She's the flyest first lady in history. This is the dumb shit that black people say. Oh, Michelle is the flyest, most beautiful first lady ever in history. Don't know what the fuck that has to do with anything. But this is what type shit black folks say. Oprah supported Obama, remember? Oprah now is spiritual advisor of Marianne Williamson. Oprah also just did, or little Michael Jackson documentary they had slandering Michael Jackson's name, even after the man has been dead for a decade now, still. Let me get Charlamagne off my goddamn screen. Even though, but Oprah is supporting, giving a platform to the would-be victims who would know they motherfucking lying, and y'all still fuck with Oprah. You know, it's just, you know, it's like, I don't understand this. I be confused with some of the shit that we be on. Y'all should know by now, if Oprah support it, if Oprah doing it, something ain't right with it. You don't do anything or host any panel for any of the white bitches that Harvey Weinstein fucked with, because you chummy with him. So y'all be cool with these black women being chummy with these vile, nasty ass, sick white men. Nobody cares. But you come give a platform to these lying motherfuckers? And y'all don't look at Oprah sideways at all? If her career didn't do it, because if you just look at Oprah's, you know, if you look at her works, you will see. But it's just, it's trash, man. Our mentality is fucked up. We're gonna have to deal with that. We ain't getting nowhere. We're not gonna get nowhere. You see, if you see these posts about even with Bernie Sanders, if you see these posts, you'll see all types of black folk thinking he about to come in here and do all this stuff. No, he's not. He's not about to do that, especially in 4 years. He gonna come give you free daycare, free college, free healthcare. What else? Legalize marijuana. He not about to do all that. That shit got to pass through the Senate and shit. That's how it works. He knows this, but he's campaigning, you see. Most of these presidents, they come out and they do a couple things. They have one big thing that they're known for. With Obama, of course, it was the Obamacare is what they start calling it. Obamacare was his big thing. Bernie will have to have one big thing, and it's not to eradicate racism. That's not his big thing. Make racism illegal. When is somebody gonna come run on that? Like, to get black people's attention? I'm gonna make racism and white supremacy, the idea of white supremacy, I'm gonna make it illegal. Be laws in place for these racist motherfuckers. Like they've been in place against you for being black for so many years. Now I'm gonna come out here and make it illegal to be racist. You know. That's how it is, man. Stack saying you're right. We have to be our own saviors. I had a motherfucker going. I was on Instagram and I be commenting on shit sometimes. I commented on something. No, wait. I think it might have been up on my Instagram page. Something about Jesus. You know, this motherfucker gonna come in and tell me that, you know, Jesus wasn't a white man. He was black, and Yeshua, and he is our Messiah. And look, no. Black people need to get out of that mentality. There ain't no Messiah. Ain't nobody coming. We gonna have to save ourselves. We need to be our own Messiah. And just like the feds, you know, they were scared of a black Messiah. What if there are over 20 million black Messiahs? Then what can they do? Because they can always target a black Messiah. But what if there was at least 20 million? then it couldn't target everybody like that. And we have to do something about that. It ain't gonna be raising the dead like the motherfucking that preacher over in Africa. This motherfucker fake raising the dead and shit. Like, this shit is a game, man. I started to make a video about that. I didn't. I knew I'd been laughing too goddamn hard. But you got motherfuckers out here playing these games. Like, it's like, stop, man. Stop it. We don't need the power to raise the dead. We don't need to walk on water. We don't need to be able to turn water into wine. All we have to do is have pride in ourselves. And that seems to be the impossible, but that's really all we need. And then the amount of messiahs grows, you know. It grows. We become the answer to our problem. But we ain't up on that yet. We're not up on it. Thank you, Tamika. Tamika says she giving me a standing ovation right now. Thank you. All in the house. Clapping and shit. I really appreciate that. I appreciate the people that understand what I'm saying. A lot of people be acting like I'm talking crazy. Like, I'm just saying this out of control shit. Out of this world shit. Like, no. This needs to be our business. Derek Kelly, you wild as hell. It's much you gonna run for president and Rob will be my vice president, basically my spokesman. So basically, I'll be the human shield. That'll be the first time in history a vice president gets shot. Like, for the first time, assassination attempt on the vice president of America. First time in history. They wanted to take the vice president out, you know. We can make history like that, goddamn it, you know. We can most definitely make some history. Yeah, goddamn it, not trying to knock my ass off. They'll try to knock me the fuck off. Be the first time in goddamn history they hadn't targeted a vice president. Like, what the fuck? They done went after the vice president. This shit getting real out here in these streets. This shit getting real. You know. We can make some history like that. You know, say Kanye for president. Anybody can be president. See, this is what we gotta understand, man, about this presidency shit. It doesn't matter who's in there. If you really look at it, it doesn't matter who's the president. What matters is the grassroots, ground level, regular people. What are they doing? It didn't matter who the president was when the Black Panther Party started. It didn't matter who the president was when SNCC started. Doesn't matter who the president is as far as the pride of the people is concerned. That's something we'll have to hold and carry regardless of who the president is. Doesn't matter who's the president. Because we still dealing with the same issues. Don't give a damn if you watch one of our great orators, they could be made a video 60 years ago. We dealing with the same shit right now. Didn't matter who the president was then, doesn't matter who the president is now. What matters is the mentality of Black peoples. And that's what we're not focused on. I don't give a fuck about the president. I don't. Call me, I mean, people done call me all types of shit for that over the years. Call me what you want, but I know that it doesn't matter who's in there. The power is down here with the people. With what we accept, with what we allow, you know. That's where we need to be. The president don't matter, man. Donald Trump could run, he get another 4 years. Don't matter. If we had our shit together, it wouldn't matter who the president is. Wouldn't make a difference who the president is if our shit was tight. But our shit ain't tight. Because we still doing, instead of coming together, we still going to church and voting. Those are two things that we continue to do that ain't helping us at all. We have to change that. We have to change that shit. And stop calling me fucking crazy. Stop calling me crazy all the goddamn time. I'm telling y'all what we gotta do. I'm telling y'all what we gotta do. You are. Rob, if you hit the gym, you'd be the first vice president / bodyguard. If I care. I ain't hitting no gym. My trigger finger don't need. Why I gotta hit a gym? Like, the fuck? It feels like it can, you know, you don't need to hit no gym. This is what we need to be about. Like, I ain't about to, you think about that fighting motherfuckers? Think about them boxing motherfuckers, got them bodyguard boxing. Like, no, you didn't watch too much TV. You didn't see these big 6'4", 6'5", 250-pound niggas. No, that ain't real life shit. Muscles and all. Shoot, looked at all them weights, didn't you? I know you did. You spent time in the gym, didn't you? Thought you was gonna knock me the fuck out, didn't you? I know you did. That trigger finger, man. That's all you need. You don't need to goddamn these big brolic motherfuckers. Like, these big strong motherfuckers. That's that TV shit, man. Y'all been watching these movie stars do it, man. I need a motherfucker that can shoot, goddamn it. That's what I want around me. You be the smallest motherfucker. I don't give a damn how big it is. Fuck. If you can hit the bullseye, goddamn it, come on. Let's go. But y'all, let somebody get the fuck off here. Cause we still got a show to do Wednesday, too. We got a show to do Wednesday. I ain't gonna tell. I don't know what the fuck. I'm gonna figure out what we're gonna talk about on Wednesday. We still got a show to do on Wednesday as well. I'm about to get off here. Again, y'all let me know if y'all liked the segment that I did from the Breakfast Club. If y'all want me to do more interviews like that, we break this shit down, even if it's not videos or, like I said, not interviews about necessarily dealing with Bernie Sanders. It can be any of these motherfuckers. They saying some shit. Y'all want to come break it down, maybe laugh a little bit, get us some laughs on while we talking about this shit. Just let me know. Wednesday, I'll be on at 9:00 p.m. Eastern time Wednesday, my normal Wednesday night show. Y'all hit that like button if you like the video, share the video. To follow me on social media, links in the description box. Follow me on social media, but we will be back in here Wednesday. This was a random live. I just wanted to come on here and figured I would try this out. Hopefully they don't. I'm gonna put that little disclaimer up, the fair use or whatever shit, so they don't try to get me for it or whatever. I'll put that up and hopefully the video stays up. If not, then I'll know I can't do videos like this, so they'll take them down. So we'll just see how it plays out. But mad love to y'all. Shout out Team Rob. Y'all already know what it is. I appreciate everybody come spend this time with me. And I'll see y'all Wednesday night. I'm out.